Let's get ready for the Mississippi Real Estate Exam with 100 questions covering key state laws, principles, and practices you'll need to know. And keep an eye on the bottom corner. There's something there that could make a big difference in your prep. We'll tell you how to use it in just a minute. Now, let's get started.
Let's start with a quick review of licensing requirements and procedures. Mississippi licensing requirements and procedures. What is the minimum age requirement to obtain a real estate salesperson license in Mississippi? Is it A, 16 years old, B, 18 years old, C, 21 years old, or D, 25 years old? The answer is B, 18 years old. In Mississippi, individuals must be at least 18 years old to apply for a real estate salesperson license. This ensures that applicants have reached the age of majority and are legally capable of entering into contracts. How many hours of pre-license education are required for a real estate salesperson in Mississippi? Is it A, 30 hours, B, 45 hours, C, 60 hours, or D, 90 hours? The answer is C, 60 hours. Mississippi mandates 60 hours of pre-license education for aspiring real estate salespersons. This education covers essential real estate principles, practices, and state laws to prepare candidates for the licensing exam.
Have you noticed the code in the bottom corner? Next time you're stumped, take that code to birdsey.ai for immediate help and a free study session with Birdsey, your personal AI study partner. Plus, you'll get access to hundreds of additional questions, helping you move closer to passing your exam with confidence. The next time you're feeling unsure or stuck, give it a try.
Which of the following is a requirement for obtaining a broker's license in Mississippi? Is it A, no prior experience, B, 6 months of experience, C, 9 months of experience, or D, 12 months of experience? The answer is D, 12 months of experience. To qualify for a broker's license in Mississippi, applicants must have a minimum of 12 months of active real estate salesperson experience, ensuring they have practical industry knowledge. What is the purpose of the Mississippi Real Estate Commission's continuing education requirement for license renewal? Is it A, to increase revenue for the state, B, to make the licensing process more challenging, C, to keep licensees updated with industry changes and legal requirements, or D, to reduce the number of licensed professionals? The answer is C, to keep licensees updated with industry changes and legal requirements. The Mississippi Real Estate Commission mandates continuing education to ensure that real estate professionals remain informed about industry changes, legal updates, and best practices, thereby maintaining a high standard of service. Continuing education requirements. What is the minimum number of continuing education hours required for a real estate license renewal in Mississippi? Is it A, 10 hours, B, 16 hours, C, 20 hours, or D, 24 hours? The answer is B, 16 hours. In Mississippi, real estate licensees must complete a minimum of 16 hours of continuing education every 2 years to renew their license. This ensures they remain informed about industry updates and legal changes. Which of the following courses is mandatory as part of the continuing education requirements for Mississippi real estate licensees? Is it A, advanced property management, B, marketing strategies, C, Mississippi license law, or D, real estate economics? The answer is C, Mississippi license law. Mississippi requires licensees to take courses on agency relationships and Mississippi license law as part of their continuing education to ensure compliance with state regulations. How often must Mississippi real estate licensees complete their continuing education requirements? Is it A, every 2 years, B, annually, C. Every 3 years. Or D. Every 5 years. The answer is A. Every 2 years. Licensees in Mississippi are required to complete their continuing education every 2 years as part of the license renewal process, ensuring ongoing professional competence and adherence to state laws. What happens if a Mississippi real estate licensee fails to complete the required continuing education by the renewal deadline? Is it A. License is automatically renewed? B. License is permanently revoked? C. License renewal is delayed? Or D. License is placed on inactive status? The answer is D. License is placed on inactive status. Failure to complete the required continuing education results in the license being placed on inactive status, prohibiting the licensee from practicing real estate until requirements are met. Mississippi real estate laws and regulations. Mississippi-specific fair housing laws. Under Mississippi fair housing laws, which of the following is considered a discriminatory practice? Is it A. Offering incentives to first-time homebuyers? B. Refusing to rent to individuals based on national origin? C. Providing different lease terms for short-term rentals? Or D. Charging higher rent for furnished apartments? The answer is B. Refusing to rent to individuals based on national origin. Mississippi law prohibits discrimination in housing based on race, color, religion, sex, national origin, disability, and familial status. Refusing to sell or rent based on these characteristics is illegal. What is the role of the Mississippi Real Estate Commission in enforcing fair housing laws? Is it A. Creating new fair housing laws? B. Providing legal representation to tenants? C. Investigating complaints of discrimination? Or D. Setting rental prices statewide? The answer is C. Investigating complaints of discrimination. The Mississippi Real Estate Commission enforces fair housing laws by investigating complaints, ensuring compliance, and imposing penalties for violations to uphold the integrity of the housing market. Which group is not protected under Mississippi's fair housing laws? Is it A. Race, B. Disability, C. Familial status, or D. Economic status? The answer is D. Economic status. Mississippi's fair housing laws protect against discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, national origin, disability, and familial status. Economic status is not a protected category. In Mississippi, what must landlords ensure to comply with fair housing laws? Is it A. Non-discriminatory tenant selection procedures? B. Offering reduced rent to minority groups? C. Providing free legal advice to tenants? Or D. Conducting background checks on all applicants? The answer is A. Non-discriminatory tenant selection procedures. Landlords must ensure that their rental practices do not discriminate against protected classes, maintaining equal opportunity in housing access and avoiding biased advertising or tenant selection. What action can a tenant take if they believe they have been discriminated against in Mississippi? Is it A. Terminate their lease without penalty? B. Request a rent reduction? C. Demand immediate relocation assistance? Or D. File a complaint with HUD or the Mississippi Real Estate Commission? The answer is D. File a complaint with HUD or the Mississippi Real Estate Commission. Tenants can file a complaint with the Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, or the Mississippi Real Estate Commission, which will investigate and address the discrimination claim. Which of the following actions is prohibited under Mississippi's fair housing laws? Is it A. Offering different rental terms to all tenants? B. Steering potential buyers towards specific neighborhoods? C. Refusing to rent to individuals with poor credit history? Or D. Charging higher rent based on the number of occupants? The answer is B. Steering potential buyers towards specific neighborhoods. Mississippi's fair housing laws prohibit discrimination in renting or selling properties based on race, color, religion, sex, national origin, familial status, or disability. Steering potential buyers to certain neighborhoods is a discriminatory practice. How does Mississippi law address discrimination based on familial status in housing? Is it A, it prohibits discrimination against families with children? B, it allows restrictions on the number of children per unit? C, it permits landlords to charge higher deposits for families? Or D, it only protects families with children under age 12? The answer is A, it prohibits discrimination against families with children. Mississippi law, mirroring federal standards, protects families with children under 18 from discrimination. Housing providers cannot refuse to rent to families with children unless the property is designated as senior housing. Mississippi-specific contract requirements. What is the minimum requirement for a valid real estate contract in Mississippi? Is it A, mutual consent, lawful object, consideration, and competent parties? B, mutual consent, verbal agreement, and competent parties? C, consideration, lawful object, and notarization? Or D, lawful object, mutual consent, and notarization? The answer is A, mutual consent, lawful object, consideration, and competent parties. In Mississippi, a valid real estate contract must include mutual consent, a lawful object, consideration, and competent parties. All parties must agree to the terms, and the contract must be in writing to be enforceable. In Mississippi, which party is responsible for ensuring that a property disclosure form is provided? Is it A, the buyer's agent? B, the closing attorney? C, the seller? Or D, the mortgage lender? The answer is C, the seller. The seller is responsible for providing a property disclosure form, which outlines known defects and conditions of the property. This requirement ensures transparency and protects both buyer and seller in the transaction. Which of the following is a requirement for a real estate contract to be enforceable in Mississippi? Is it A, it must be notarized? B, it must be in writing? C, it must include a witness signature? Or D, it must be recorded with the county? The answer is B, it must be in writing. For a real estate contract to be enforceable in Mississippi, it must be in writing, as per the Statute of Frauds. This requirement helps prevent fraud and ensures clarity of terms. What is the purpose of the earnest money deposit in a Mississippi real estate transaction? Is it A, to show the buyer's good faith? B, to pay for closing costs? C, to cover the seller's moving expenses? Or D, to secure a lower interest rate? The answer is A, to show the buyer's good faith. In Mississippi, an earnest money deposit demonstrates the buyer's good faith in purchasing the property. It is held in escrow and may be forfeited if the buyer defaults on the contract terms. In Mississippi, what is the consequence if a real estate contract lacks a legal description of the property? Is it A, the contract is still valid? B, the contract is void? C, the contract is subject to a fine? Or D, the contract requires court approval? The answer is B, the contract is void. A real estate contract without a legal description is considered void in Mississippi, as the property cannot be adequately identified. This requirement ensures clarity and prevents disputes over property boundaries.
If you're finding this helpful, please take a minute to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more practice exams, useful tips, and complimentary study sessions with Birdsey.
Overview of Mississippi real estate statutes. What is the primary purpose of the Mississippi Real Estate Commission? Is it A, to regulate and license real estate professionals in Mississippi? B, to set property tax rates for the state? C, to provide legal representation to real estate agents? Or D, to manage state-owned properties? The answer is A, to regulate and license real estate professionals in Mississippi. The Mississippi Real Estate Commission is responsible for regulating the real estate industry in Mississippi, ensuring compliance with state laws and protecting public interests through licensing and oversight. In Mississippi, how long must a real estate broker retain transactional records? Is it A, 1 year, B, 2 years, C, 3 years, or D, 5 years? The answer is C, 3 years. Mississippi law requires brokers to retain records of real estate transactions for at least 3 years. This is to ensure accountability and transparency in real estate dealings. Which of the following is a requirement for obtaining a real estate salesperson license in Mississippi? Is it A, completion of a 30-hour pre-licensing course, B, completion of a 60-hour pre-licensing course, C, passing a national real estate exam only, or D, having a minimum of 5 years of related work experience? The answer is B, completion of a 60-hour pre-licensing course. Applicants must complete a 60-hour pre-licensing course approved by the Mississippi Real Estate Commission to qualify for the salesperson license, ensuring they possess foundational knowledge of real estate practices. What is the role of earnest money in Mississippi real estate transactions? Is it A, it serves as a non-refundable fee for the seller, B, it is used to pay the real estate agent's commission, C, it is a loan from the buyer to the seller, or D, it demonstrates the buyer's serious intent to purchase the property? The answer is D, it demonstrates the buyer's serious intent to purchase the property. Earnest money is a deposit made to demonstrate the buyer's serious intent to purchase a property. In Mississippi, it is held in trust and applied towards closing costs or returned if the deal falls through. Mississippi property ownership and land use. Types of property ownership, e.g. fee simple, leasehold, joint tenancy. What is the primary characteristic of fee simple ownership in Mississippi? Is it A, complete ownership rights, including right to sell, B, ownership limited to a specific term, C, shared ownership with survivorship rights, or D, conditional ownership based on land use? The answer is A, complete ownership rights, including right to sell. Fee simple ownership is the most complete form of property ownership, granting the owner full rights to use, sell, or bequeath the property. This is the default ownership type unless otherwise specified. Which type of property ownership involves rights that revert to the original owner after a specified term? Is it A, fee simple, B, leasehold, C, joint tenancy, or D, tenancy in common? The answer is B, leasehold. Leasehold estates involve a tenant's right to use and occupy land for a specified term, after which the rights revert to the landlord. This is common in rental agreements. In Mississippi, what is a key feature of joint tenancy? Is it A, ownership by one person, B, ownership with no survivorship rights, C, survivorship rights among owners, or D, ownership for a limited time? The answer is C, survivorship rights among owners. Joint tenancy includes the right of survivorship, meaning upon the death of one owner, their interest automatically passes to the surviving joint tenants, bypassing probate. How does tenancy in common differ from joint tenancy in Mississippi? Is it A, includes survivorship rights, B, requires equal ownership shares, C, ownership reverts to original owner, or D, allows unequal shares without survivorship? The answer is D, allows unequal shares without survivorship. Tenancy in common allows co-owners to hold unequal shares and does not include survivorship rights, meaning an owner's share can be bequeathed to heirs. What distinguishes a life estate in Mississippi property law? Is it A, ownership for a fixed term? B, ownership for the duration of a person's life? C, permanent ownership with full rights? Or D, shared ownership with equal shares? The answer is B, ownership for the duration of a person's life. A life estate grants ownership rights for the duration of a person's life, after which the property passes to a remainderman or reverts to the original owner. Which type of property ownership in Mississippi allows multiple owners to have equal rights and obligations with the right of survivorship? Is it A, tenancy in common, B, leasehold, C, joint tenancy, or D, fee simple? The answer is C, joint tenancy. Joint tenancy involves co-owners having equal ownership shares and rights to the property. Upon the death of one owner, their share automatically passes to the surviving owners, known as the right of survivorship. Public versus private land use controls. Which of the following is an example of a public land use control in Mississippi? Is it A, zoning laws, B, restrictive covenants, C, easements, or D, deed restrictions? The answer is A, zoning laws. Zoning laws are public land use controls implemented by local governments to regulate how land can be used in specific areas, ensuring orderly development and preventing land use conflicts. What is a key characteristic of private land use controls? Is it A, enforced by local government, B, established by private agreements, C, universal across all states, or D, always temporary? The answer is B, established by private agreements. Private land use controls, such as restrictive covenants, are established by private parties and are enforceable through legal agreements, typically affecting property use and development. How do zoning laws differ from deed restrictions in Mississippi? Is it A, both are public controls, B, both are private controls, C, zoning is public, deed restrictions are private, or D, zoning is temporary, deed restrictions are permanent? The answer is C, zoning is public, deed restrictions are private. Zoning laws are public controls set by local governments, while deed restrictions are private controls imposed by property owners, often to maintain a certain character within a community. What is the primary purpose of public land use controls in Mississippi? Is it A, to increase property values, B, to promote community welfare, C, to enforce private agreements, or D, to limit government intervention? The answer is B, to promote community welfare. Public land use controls like zoning aim to promote the health, safety, and welfare of the community by regulating land development and usage, ensuring sustainable and organized growth. Which of the following is a common tool for enforcing private land use controls? Is it A, zoning ordinances, B, building codes, C, eminent domain, or D, restrictive covenants? The answer is D, restrictive covenants. Restrictive covenants are used to enforce private land use controls by setting conditions on property use, ensuring compliance through legal agreements enforceable by property owners or associations. Land use and zoning laws. What is the primary purpose of zoning laws in Mississippi? Is it A, to increase property taxes, B, to regulate land use and development, C, to encourage urban sprawl, or D, to promote industrial growth? The answer is B, to regulate land use and development. Zoning laws in Mississippi primarily regulate land use to ensure orderly development, protect property values, and separate incompatible land uses. They help maintain community standards and promote public health and safety. Which body typically has the authority to grant variances to zoning laws in Mississippi? Is it A, state legislature, B, city council, C, zoning board or board of adjustment, or D, governor's office? The answer is C, zoning board or board of adjustment. In Mississippi, zoning variances are usually granted by a local zoning board or board of adjustment. These boards assess whether exceptions to zoning laws are justified based on specific criteria. What is a common requirement for obtaining a special use permit in Mississippi? Is it A, a unanimous city council vote, B, a state-level environmental impact study, C, a federal zoning compliance check, or D, demonstrating minimal impact on the community? The answer is D, demonstrating minimal impact on the community. Obtaining a special use permit often requires demonstrating that the proposed use will not adversely affect the surrounding area. Public hearings and community input are also typically part of the process. In Mississippi, what is a non-conforming use in zoning terms? Is it A, a use that was legal but no longer complies with current zoning, B, a use that is illegal under any zoning laws, C, a temporary use allowed by special permit, or D, a use that requires a variance for approval? The answer is A, a use that was legal but no longer complies with current zoning. A non-conforming use refers to a property use that was legally established under previous zoning regulations but does not comply with current zoning laws. These uses are typically grandfathered until major changes occur. Condominiums and HOAs. What is a key responsibility of a homeowners association (HOA) in a Mississippi condominium community? Is it A, setting property tax rates for the community, B, maintaining common areas and amenities, C, providing individual property insurance, or D, enforcing state real estate laws? The answer is B, maintaining common areas and amenities. HOAs in Mississippi condominiums are responsible for maintaining common areas to ensure a safe and pleasant environment for all residents. This includes landscaping, shared amenities, and general upkeep. Which of the following is a common element in a Mississippi condominium? Is it A, lobby, B, individual unit interiors, C, personal parking spaces, or D, private balconies? The answer is A, lobby. Common elements in condominiums include areas shared by all unit owners, such as lobbies, hallways, and recreational facilities, which are maintained by the HOA. How are voting rights typically allocated in a Mississippi condominium association? Is it A, 1 vote per resident, B, 1 vote per unit, C, based on percentage of ownership interest, or D, equal votes for all units regardless of size? The answer is C, based on percentage of ownership interest. Voting rights in a condominium association are usually based on the percentage of ownership interest each unit owner has, often proportional to the size or value of their unit. What is a primary purpose of the covenants, conditions, and restrictions, CC&Rs, in a Mississippi HOA? Is it A, determine local zoning laws, B, regulate state property taxes, C, manage individual home insurance policies, or D, maintain property values and community standards? The answer is D, maintain property values and community standards. CC&Rs are established to maintain property values and ensure a uniform appearance and standard of living within the community, guiding the behavior and activities of residents. What is one potential consequence for a unit owner who fails to pay HOA dues in a Mississippi condominium? Is it A, a lien on the property, B, immediate eviction, C, increased property taxes, or D, loss of voting rights in state elections? The answer is A, a lien on the property. Failure to pay HOA dues can result in a lien placed on the property, potentially leading to foreclosure if the debt remains unpaid, affecting the owner's credit and ownership rights.
If you're finding this helpful, please take a minute to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more practice exams, useful tips, and complimentary study sessions with Birdsey.
Environmental issues and floodplain management. Which agency is primarily responsible for floodplain management in Mississippi? Is it A, Mississippi Department of Environmental Quality, MDEQ, B, Mississippi Department of Transportation, MDOT, C, Mississippi Emergency Management Agency, or D, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers? The answer is C, Mississippi Emergency Management Agency, MEMA. The Mississippi Emergency Management Agency, EMA, coordinates floodplain management to reduce flood risk through planning and regulation. This includes working with local governments to implement floodplain management regulations. What is the primary purpose of the Mississippi Coastal Program? Is it A, to balance economic development with environmental conservation, B, to promote tourism exclusively, C, to restrict all development along the coast, or D, to increase industrial activity in coastal areas? The answer is A, to balance economic development with environmental conservation. The Mississippi Coastal Program aims to balance economic development with the preservation of coastal resources, ensuring sustainable use and protection of natural habitats while accommodating growth. What is a primary concern of land use planning in flood-prone areas of Mississippi? Is it A, maximizing property values, B, mitigating flood risks through proper zoning, C, promoting agricultural expansion, or D, encouraging urban sprawl? The answer is B, mitigating flood risks through proper zoning. Ensuring that development does not increase flood risk is crucial. This involves evaluating floodplain maps and implementing zoning laws to prevent construction in high-risk areas. Which of the following is a key feature of the National Flood Insurance Program, NFIP, in Mississippi? Is it A, providing grants for flood damage repair, B, funding levee construction projects, C, offering tax incentives for flood-proofing homes, or D, offering flood insurance to property owners? The answer is D, offering flood insurance to property owners. NFIP provides flood insurance to property owners in participating communities, encouraging communities to adopt floodplain management regulations to reduce future flood damage. Mississippi Agency Law and Ethics. Agency relationship laws. In Mississippi, what is the primary responsibility of a real estate agent when acting as a dual agent in a transaction? Is it A, favor the seller's interests, B, maintain neutrality and disclose all relevant information, C, prioritize the buyer's needs, or D, negotiate better terms for both parties? The answer is B, maintain neutrality and disclose all relevant information. A dual agent must remain neutral and cannot favor one party over the other. They must disclose all relevant information to both parties without compromising confidentiality. What is an agent's duty of loyalty under Mississippi agency law? Is it A, act in the best interests of the client, B, ensure the highest commission possible, C, disclose all offers to the client, or D, maintain confidentiality of all parties? The answer is A, act in the best interests of the client. The duty of loyalty requires agents to act in the best interests of their clients, avoiding conflicts of interest and prioritizing the client's needs above their own. Under Mississippi law, when can an agency relationship be terminated without liability? Is it A, when the agent desires more commission, B, when the client finds a better agent, C, upon mutual agreement or completion of the task, or D, when the agent's license expires? The answer is C, upon mutual agreement or completion of the task. An agency relationship can be terminated without liability upon mutual agreement, completion of the agency purpose, expiration of the term, or when it's legally impossible to perform the duties. In Mississippi, what must an agent disclose to a client about a property? Is it A, only the positive features of the property, B, the previous owner's reasons for selling, C, the neighborhood's crime rate, or D, any known material defects of the property? The answer is D, any known material defects of the property. Agents must disclose all material facts about a property that could affect the client's decisions, including defects or issues that are not readily observable. Fiduciary duties and client representation. In Mississippi, what is the primary fiduciary duty an agent owes to their client? Is it A, disclosure, B, loyalty, C, confidentiality, or D, accounting? The answer is B, loyalty. In Mississippi, loyalty is a primary fiduciary duty, requiring agents to prioritize the client's interests above their own. This duty ensures that agents act in the best interest of their clients at all times. Which fiduciary duty requires Mississippi real estate agents to act with honesty and integrity in all client dealings? Is it A, B, disclosure, C, care, or D, confidentiality? The answer is C, care. The duty of honesty and integrity is encompassed in the fiduciary duty of care, which requires agents to act diligently and truthfully in all transactions and client interactions. What is the consequence if a Mississippi agent breaches their fiduciary duty of confidentiality? Is it A, legal repercussions, B, increased client trust, C, higher commission rates, or D, improved agency reputation? The answer is A, legal repercussions. Breaching confidentiality can lead to legal repercussions, including lawsuits for damages, as it violates the trust placed in the agent by the client. In Mississippi, how must an agent handle a conflict of interest when representing a client? Is it A, ignore the conflict, B, prioritize the agent's interest, C, seek advice from other agents, or D, disclose to the client? The answer is D, disclose to the client. Agents must disclose any conflict of interest to the client, ensuring transparency and allowing the client to make informed decisions regarding the representation. Mississippi Ethics Guidelines and Enforcement. What is the primary purpose of the Mississippi Real Estate Commission's Code of Ethics? Is it A, to ensure integrity and fairness in real estate transactions, B, to maximize profits for real estate agents, C, to limit competition among real estate agents, or D, to regulate the pricing of real estate properties? The answer is A, to ensure integrity and fairness in real estate transactions. The Mississippi Real Estate Commission's Code of Ethics is designed to ensure that real estate professionals conduct their business with integrity, fairness, and transparency, thereby protecting the interests of the public and maintaining trust in the profession. Which of the following actions would most likely result in a disciplinary action under Mississippi's Real Estate Ethics Guidelines? Is it A, providing excellent customer service, B, offering competitive pricing strategies, C, misrepresenting property details to a client, or D, engaging in continuous professional development? The answer is C, misrepresenting property details to a client. Misrepresentation of property details is a serious violation as it undermines trust and can cause significant harm to clients, leading to disciplinary actions by the Mississippi Real Estate Commission. Under Mississippi Ethics Guidelines, how should an agent handle a conflict of interest situation? Is it A, ignore the conflict and proceed with the transaction, B, transfer the client to another agent without explanation, C, resolve the conflict internally without informing the client, or D, disclose the conflict to the client and seek their consent? The answer is D. Disclose the conflict to the client and seek their consent. Agents must disclose any conflicts of interest to their clients to ensure transparency and maintain trust, as required by Mississippi ethics guidelines. What is the role of the Mississippi Real Estate Commission in enforcing ethics guidelines? Is it A, to provide legal representation to agents, B, to investigate complaints and impose disciplinary actions, C, to set pricing standards for real estate transactions, or D, to offer marketing advice to real estate agents? The answer is B, to investigate complaints and impose disciplinary actions. The Mississippi Real Estate Commission enforces ethics guidelines by investigating complaints, conducting hearings, and imposing disciplinary actions to uphold ethical standards in the real estate industry.
Stuck on a question? Just think of the Birdsey link in the description as your friendly neighborhood superhero swooping in to save the day with answers. Feel free to explore it now and return to continue. Simply hit pause, and we'll be waiting when you get back.
Mississippi property valuation. Basic principles of property valuation. Which principle of property valuation asserts that the value of a property is determined by the cost to produce a similar property with equivalent utility and desirability? Is it A, principle of anticipation, B, principle of contribution, C, principle of substitution, or D, principle of conformity? The answer is C, principle of substitution. The principle of substitution states that a property's value is set by the cost of acquiring an equally desirable substitute property. This principle is fundamental in appraisals. In Mississippi property valuation, which principle suggests that the value of a property is determined by comparing it to similar properties that have recently sold? Is it A, principle of anticipation, B, principle of conformity, C, principle of substitution, or D, principle of competition? The answer is C, principle of substitution. The principle of substitution in property valuation states that a property's value is influenced by the cost of acquiring an equally desirable substitute property. This principle guides comparative market analysis. What principle of property valuation explains that the value of a property is based on the present worth of future benefits derived from its ownership? Is it A, principle of change, B, principle of highest and best use, C, principle of externalities, or D, principle of anticipation? The answer is D, principle of anticipation. The principle of anticipation reflects the idea that the value of a property is linked to the expected future benefits or income it will generate for the owner. Which basic principle of property valuation involves the concept that a property must be utilized in a way that yields the greatest net return over a given period? Is it A, principle of change, B, principle of highest and best use, C, principle of substitution, or D, principle of conformity? The answer is B, principle of highest and best use. The principle of highest and best use is critical in valuation, ensuring that the property is used in a manner that maximizes its potential and market value. Sales comparison, cost, and income approaches. In the sales comparison approach, what is the primary purpose of making adjustments to the sale prices of comparable properties? Is it A, to increase the value of the subject property, B, to account for differences between the subject property and comparables, C, to decrease the value of the comparable properties, or D, to enhance the marketability of the subject property? The answer is B, to account for differences between the subject property and comparables. Adjustments are made to account for differences between the subject property and comparables, ensuring an accurate estimate of the subject's market value. This approach relies heavily on comparability. Which of the following is not a component of the cost approach in property valuation? Is it A, replacement cost, B, depreciation, C, capitalization rate, or D, land value? The answer is C, capitalization rate. The cost approach includes land value, replacement or reproduction cost, and depreciation. Capitalization rate is related to the income approach, not the cost approach. In the income approach, what does the capitalization rate represent? Is it A, the return on investment expected from the property, B, the amount of depreciation applied to the property, C, the total operating expenses of the property, or D, the potential gross income of the property? The answer is A, the return on investment expected from the property. The capitalization rate represents the return on investment expected from an income-producing property, reflecting the relationship between net income and property value. What is a significant limitation of the sales comparison approach? Is it A, high cost of implementation, B, complex calculations, C, requires detailed income data, or D, lack of comparable sales data? The answer is D, lack of comparable sales data. The sales comparison approach can be limited by a lack of comparable sales data, especially in unique or rapidly changing markets, affecting the accuracy of the valuation. Mississippi financing. Mortgage loans and financing options. What is the primary purpose of a deed of trust in Mississippi mortgage financing? Is it A, to secure the loan by holding the property's title in trust, B, to transfer ownership of the property to the lender, C, to provide insurance for the mortgage loan, or D, to establish the terms of the loan repayment? The answer is A, to secure the loan by holding the property's title in trust. A deed of trust serves as a security instrument in Mississippi, holding the property title in trust until the loan is repaid. It involves three parties: borrower, lender, and trustee. Which type of mortgage loan is most suitable for a first-time homebuyer in Mississippi seeking low down payment options? Is it A, conventional loan, B, jumbo loan, C, or D? The answer is C. An FHA loan is popular among first-time buyers in Mississippi due to its lower down payment requirements and more lenient credit score standards compared to conventional loans. In Mississippi, what is a key benefit of a USDA rural development loan? Is it A, lower interest rates than conventional loans, B, no down payment required for eligible properties, C, available for any property type, or D, reduced closing costs? The answer is B, no down payment required for eligible properties. USDA loans offer 100% financing with no down payment for eligible rural properties, making them an attractive option for buyers in qualifying areas. Which of the following is a characteristic of adjustable rate mortgages, ARMs, in Mississippi? Is it A, fixed interest rate for the loan term, B, interest-only payments throughout the loan term, C, higher initial interest rates than fixed-rate mortgages, or D, interest rate adjusts periodically based on an index? The answer is D, interest rate adjusts periodically based on an index. ARMs have interest rates that adjust periodically based on a specific index, offering initially lower rates but potentially higher future payments. Loan applications and approval processes. What is the minimum credit score typically required for a conventional loan approval in Mississippi? Is it A, 580, B, 620, C, 680, or D, 700? The answer is B, 620. In Mississippi, lenders generally require a minimum credit score of 620 for conventional loans. This standard helps assess the borrower's creditworthiness and ability to repay the loan. Which document is essential for verifying a borrower's income during the loan application process in Mississippi? Is it A, credit report, B, bank statement, C, pay stubs, or D, W-2 form? The answer is C, pay stubs. Pay stubs are crucial in verifying a borrower's income as they provide a detailed record of earnings, helping lenders assess financial stability and repayment capability. In Mississippi, what is the debt-to-income DTI ratio limit typically considered acceptable for loan approval? Is it A, 43%, B, 50%, C, 36%, or D, 28%? The answer is A, 43%. A DTI ratio of 43% is generally the maximum acceptable limit for most loan programs, indicating the borrower's ability to manage monthly payments effectively. What is the primary purpose of a loan estimate in the Mississippi loan application process? Is it A, to finalize the loan terms, B, to determine creditworthiness, C, to secure a loan rate, or D, to provide estimated loan costs? The answer is D, to provide estimated loan costs. A loan estimate provides borrowers with important details about the loan terms, estimated costs, and fees, helping them make informed decisions and compare offers from different lenders.
If you're finding this helpful, please take a minute to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more practice exams, useful tips, and complimentary study sessions with Birdsey.
Mississippi mortgage disclosure requirements. Which document is required by Mississippi law to be provided to borrowers at the time of mortgage application to disclose loan terms? Is it A, truth in lending statement, B, loan estimate, C, closing disclosure, or D, good faith estimate? The answer is B, loan estimate. The loan estimate is a standardized form that provides borrowers with details about the mortgage they are applying for, including interest rates and closing costs, as mandated by the TRID rule. What is the primary purpose of the Mississippi Mortgage Disclosure Act? Is it A, to promote real estate investment, B, to regulate interest rates, C, to ensure transparency in loan terms, or D, to limit loan amounts? The answer is C, to ensure transparency in loan terms. The Mississippi Mortgage Disclosure Act aims to ensure transparency and fairness in mortgage transactions by requiring lenders to provide clear and accurate information about loan terms and fees. Under Mississippi law, how soon must a lender provide the loan estimate after receiving a mortgage application? Is it A, 3 business days, B, 5 business days, C, 7 business days, or D, 10 business days? The answer is A, 3 business days. Lenders are required to provide the loan estimate within 3 business days after receiving a mortgage application, ensuring borrowers have early access to key loan information. What information is not typically included in the loan estimate under Mississippi mortgage disclosure requirements? Is it A, loan terms, B, projected payments, C, closing costs, or D, credit score? The answer is D, credit score. The loan estimate includes loan terms, projected payments, and closing costs, but does not include personal financial details like credit scores, which are handled separately. Mississippi-specific loan programs. Which Mississippi-specific loan program is designed to assist first-time homebuyers with down payment assistance? Is it A, Smart Solution, B, Rural Development Loan, C, Veterans Home Purchase Board, or D, Mississippi Dream Fund? The answer is A, Smart Solution. The Mississippi Home Corporation, MHC, offers down payment assistance to first-time homebuyers through its Smart Solution program. This aims to make homeownership more accessible for those entering the housing market for the first time. What is the primary purpose of the Mississippi Home Corporation's Mortgage Revenue Bond (MRB) program? Is it A, to provide grants for home repairs, B, to offer lower interest rates to eligible homebuyers, C, to finance commercial real estate projects, or D, to support rental housing development? The answer is B, to offer lower interest rates to eligible homebuyers. The MRB program aims to offer lower interest rates to eligible homebuyers, making homeownership more affordable. It targets low to moderate income families, helping them access the housing market. Which program offers financial assistance to Mississippi veterans for purchasing a home? Is it A, Smart Solution, B, Rural Development Loan, C, Veterans Home Purchase Board, or D, Mississippi Affordable Housing Program? The answer is C, Veterans Home Purchase Board. The Veterans Home Purchase Board provides financial assistance to Mississippi veterans, offering favorable loan terms to help them purchase homes. This initiative supports veterans in achieving home ownership. What is a key feature of the Mississippi Rural Development Loan Program? Is it A, interest-free loans, B, available only to first-time buyers, C, requires a 20% down payment, or D, offers 100% financing options? The answer is D, offers 100% financing options. The Mississippi Rural Development Loan Program, backed by the USDA, provides 100% financing options, meaning no down payment is required. It aims to support homebuyers in rural areas of the state. Mississippi Home Corporation (MHC). What is the primary purpose of the Mississippi Home Corporation (MHC)? Is it A, to provide affordable housing solutions, B, to regulate real estate agents, C, to manage state tourism initiatives, or D, to oversee commercial property development? The answer is A, to provide affordable housing solutions. The Mississippi Home Corporation, MHC, aims to provide affordable housing solutions and improve homeownership opportunities for low to moderate income families in Mississippi, ensuring access to safe and stable living conditions. Which program does MHC offer to assist first-time homebuyers? Is it A, Rental Assistance Program, B, Housing Development Initiative, C, Smart Solution Program, or D, Commercial Loan Program? The answer is C, Smart Solution Program. The Smart Solution Program by MHC provides down payment assistance and favorable mortgage terms to first-time homebuyers, facilitating their entry into the housing market with more manageable financial requirements. How does MHC support the development of affordable rental housing? Is it A, by offering mortgage loans to tenants, B, by providing grants to homebuyers, C, through state-funded rental subsidies, or D, through the Low-Income Housing Tax Credit Program? The answer is D, through the Low-Income Housing Tax Credit Program. MHC utilizes the Low-Income Housing Tax Credit (LIHTC) program to incentivize developers to construct or rehabilitate affordable rental housing, thereby increasing the availability of low-cost rental units in Mississippi. What is a key feature of the Mortgage Revenue Bond (MRB) program offered by MHC? Is it A, high interest rates for quick repayment, B, lower interest rates for eligible buyers, C, no requirement for a down payment, or D, exclusive to commercial properties? The answer is B, lower interest rates for eligible buyers. The Mortgage Revenue Bond (MRB) program provides lower interest rates on mortgage loans, making homeownership more accessible and affordable for eligible low to moderate income homebuyers in Mississippi. Mississippi disclosure requirements and forms. Mississippi-specific disclosure requirements. What is the primary purpose of the Mississippi Property Condition Disclosure Statement? Is it A, to provide a valuation estimate of the property, B, to inform buyers about known property issues, C. To outline the financial history of the property. Or D. To list all previous owners of the property. The answer is B. To inform buyers about known property issues. The Mississippi Property Condition Disclosure Statement is intended to provide buyers with information about known issues with a property, ensuring transparency and informed decision-making in real estate transactions. Which type of property is exempt from the Mississippi Property Condition Disclosure requirement? Is it A. New construction properties, B. Commercial properties, C. Rental properties, or D. Foreclosed properties? The answer is A. New construction properties. New construction properties are exempt from the disclosure requirement in Mississippi, as they typically come with warranties and are subject to different inspection processes. In Mississippi, when must a seller provide the property condition disclosure statement to a buyer? Is it A. After the sale is finalized, B. At the closing meeting, C. Before the buyer makes an offer, or D. Only if requested by the buyer? The answer is C. Before the buyer makes an offer. The disclosure statement must be provided before the buyer makes an offer, ensuring that the buyer can consider any property issues before committing to purchase. What information is not required on the Mississippi Property Condition Disclosure Statement? Is it A. Presence of termites, B. Roof condition, C. Foundation issues, or D. Market value of the property? The answer is D. Market value of the property. The disclosure statement does not require the seller to provide information on the property's market value, focusing instead on physical conditions and defects. Commonly used Mississippi forms. What is the primary purpose of the Mississippi Seller's Disclosure Form? Is it A. To inform buyers about the condition of the property, B. To set the selling price of the property, C. To guarantee the property's value, or D. To transfer property ownership? The answer is A. To inform buyers about the condition of the property. The Mississippi Seller's Disclosure Form is designed to inform potential buyers about the condition of the property, helping them make an informed purchasing decision. It covers various aspects, such as structural integrity and any known defects. Which of the following is not typically included in the Mississippi Lead-Based Paint Disclosure Form? Is it A. Information on lead hazards in the home, B. Acknowledgement of buyer's receipt of EPA pamphlet, C. Current paint color preferences of the seller, or D. Records of any lead-based paint inspections? The answer is C. Current paint color preferences of the seller. The lead-based paint disclosure form focuses on informing buyers about potential lead hazards in homes built before 1978. It does not include information on current paint colors or brand preferences. When must the Mississippi Property Condition Disclosure Statement be provided to the buyer? Is it A. After closing the sale, B. Before the buyer makes an offer, C. During the home inspection, or D. At the time of listing the property? The answer is B. Before the buyer makes an offer. The disclosure statement must be provided before the buyer makes an offer or enters into a contract to ensure they have full knowledge of the property's condition before committing. Which party is primarily responsible for completing the Mississippi Property Condition Disclosure Form? Is it A. The seller, B. The buyer, C. The real estate agent, or D. The home inspector? The answer is A. The seller. The seller is responsible for completing the Property Condition Disclosure Form, as they have the most knowledge about the property's history and any issues it may have.
Notice the code in the corner? When you're stumped by a question, enter it at birdsey.ai for immediate help. Enjoy complimentary study sessions and access to hundreds of additional questions to help you pass your exam with confidence.
Specific procedures for transactions. What is required by Mississippi law to be disclosed by a seller to a buyer in a real estate transaction? Is it A, the seller's financial status, B, the buyer's personal information, C, known material defects, or D, the neighborhood crime rate? The answer is C, known material defects. Mississippi law mandates that sellers disclose any known material defects that affect the property's value or safety. This ensures buyers are fully informed before purchase. Which form is specifically used in Mississippi to disclose lead-based paint hazards in residential properties built before 1978? Is it A, lead-based paint disclosure, B, property condition disclosure, C, seller's affidavit, or D, environmental impact report? The answer is A, lead-based paint disclosure. The lead-based paint disclosure form is federally mandated for homes built before 1978 to inform buyers of potential lead hazards, ensuring compliance with safety regulations. In Mississippi, what must a real estate agent provide to a buyer to comply with agency disclosure requirements? Is it A, a verbal explanation of agency relationships, B, a written agency disclosure form, C, a copy of the listing agreement, or D, a financial statement of the brokerage? The answer is B, a written agency disclosure form. Agents must provide a written agency disclosure form to buyers, clarifying their role and responsibilities to ensure transparency and informed decision-making in the transaction. What is the primary purpose of the property condition disclosure form in Mississippi real estate transactions? Is it A, to evaluate the property's market value, B, to negotiate the sales price, C, to calculate closing costs, or D, to inform buyers of known property issues? The answer is D, to inform buyers of known property issues. The property condition disclosure form informs buyers of known issues with the property, promoting transparency and allowing informed decisions, thus reducing the risk of post-sale disputes.
Thanks for joining us today. If you found this video helpful, subscribe to our channel for more practice exams, tips, and tricks. And don't forget to visit birdsey.ai for complimentary study sessions with Birdsey, your AI-powered study partner.